Hello, welcome to The Wandering Drew. Appreciate you taking time out to join me for today's episode. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Zpack Arcblast along with discussing some of its features. Before I go any further, just want to give a disclaimer that I do not work for ZPacks. I am not affiliated with ZPacks in any way. I have not been compensated by ZPacks in any way, shape, or form, and I purchased the Zpack Arcblast with my own money that I earn at my job. I also did try to record this video at the end of June 2019. However, the video did not come out very well and I was going on a trip. I took the Zpack Arcblast on a 30-mile hike on the Art Loeb Trail, which is located in western North Carolina. I have another video that I'll be posting on that trip as well. And so now I can in features along with a little review. Ideally, I would have a much longer trip with it before I'd give a review, but at least I can give a little bit of basic review. I purchased the Zpack Arcblast, which is right here, when I decided I wanted to upgrade some of my equipment and go with some lighter equipment. This is the Zpack Arcblast. It is a 55-liter pack, and I'll put some pictures of some of its features individually later on along with this video. I'll splice them in. It weighs, as I have it configured, 1.5 pounds, 24 ounces, or 680 grams. So, and that's with some included options. The Zpack Arcblast, as it comes stock without any additional stuff that you put on, weighs 20.5 ounces. That's extremely light. It's currently running $325 on Zpack's website, and they only do website orders. You cannot go to any store or any vendor. They don't have any distribution. There are plenty of other videos online if you search for them that will go over some of the features of it as well as what I'm doing today. So there's multiple sites that you can get opinions on the Arcblast. I decided to order this after I came back from the Foothills Trail, and I realized I was probably a little heavy. I had purchased a new pack for that trip, a 75-liter pack, which was actually too big, which I returned. I'll post a picture of that, but it was a Gregory. Nice pack, actually felt good, but I didn't fill it up. It was really too big. I usually use a 60-liter pack, which I've been using for the past couple of years, and I felt like it was too small, and I needed something because it was cold weather. It was in February, and I felt I needed a little bit more room. It turns out I really don't, but I thought I did. The problem with buying a pack is if you buy a big pack, you have a tendency to put more stuff in it and fill it up. So when I came back, and in that trip I actually hurt my ankle, I decided to lighten up a little bit. So being that ZPacks does not have any distribution centers, they're not in stores, there was no way for me to look at the items and actually see them and feel them. I don't know anyone that has a Zpack, either tent or backpack. So the videos are kind of a good way to decide whether you want them, but I want a little bit more. I was fortunate enough to be able to go visit the factory in Melbourne, Florida after exchanging emails with several of the team members of ZPacks. And my purpose was dual. Obviously, I wanted to see the products, but also in measuring myself on their website, I kind of fall between two different sizes. I fall between the medium and the small. And depending on what school of thought, you might say go larger or go smaller. But I felt it was better to get try the items on and get maybe their opinion. And I was fortunate enough to go visit them. And I got to say, nothing prepared me for the ability to touch these items and feel how light they are. You know, I wasn't really prepared. I mean, I've had several packs over the years, but when I was able to pick it up, it was just so light. It's really incredible how light it is. I also bought a duplex tent from ZPacks, and when they put it in my hand, it's so small and so light. It really just is amazing compared to what I'm used to with the weight wise. So that was some of the reasons why I went with their product line. And after being there, I gotta admit, honestly, I went out to the parking lot because you can only do internet orders, and I ordered the items from their parking lot on my cell phone. The decision was almost made. Going to their factory and actually touching the items and trying them on really sealed the deal for me. So like I said, I walked outside, went to the parking lot, and I actually ordered the items. They came within 1 week. On their website, they say allow 2 weeks, so they were early. So I got these items in early March of 2019. I was fortunate enough last week, in the beginning of July, to take this item out for a hike on the Art Loeb Trail in North Carolina. And I gotta say, I did like it, and I'll give you some of my feedback on it. But I'm gonna go over some of the features of the Arcblast. So, as I said, this is a 55-liter pack. It has several features that are very familiar to me with other packs I've had in the past. So that also led me to feel comfortable doing that. You know, we're creatures of habit. So the one thing I really liked about this, and they have a different thing, they have a zip, which I didn't want a zipper. I really didn't like the idea of a zipper. I felt it was something that could break, let water in or get dirt in and become a problem in the future. So I like this sleek look. This is made out of DCF, which is known as Dyneema composite fiber, aka Cuban fiber. This pack is limited in its weight. It's made for 35 pounds. You're not supposed to exceed that because of the design and the frame that it doesn't really have to rigidly support more weight. So you're not supposed to really exceed that weight. I find that because some of the items, as I progress in backpacking, the items are getting lighter and lighter, I feel that it's not a problem for me to stay under that 35-pound threshold. And I'm assuming you can probably go a little bit over, but I don't know. On this hike, I was below 35 pounds, even with food and water, and I had no problem with this pack. And I gotta say, it was very, very comfortable. So some of the features that it has is it has a roll top feature. And one of the reasons, another reason, I'm sorry, going back to DCF. DCF is basically waterproof, not water resistant, waterproof. It will not allow water. It will not wet out. You don't need a separate rain cover for it. They do recommend that you line your backpack for resistance against water, but I did not do that. I did get caught in a rainstorm, which was probably 15, 20 minutes long. It was a pretty heavy downpour, and I had no problem with any water intruding inside the pack at all. Although it did reveal some other issues that I had with it. But other than that, like I said, it has a roll top enclosure. And two of the reasons for this is, one, it actually keeps water and dirt out as it's rolling. Water's not going to be able to go in there with the roll. And secondly, depending on the hike you're on and how much room you need, this can be taller or shorter. So as you, let's say, use food on your trip, you can actually roll it down. It would take less room. It is a little noisy. It's got a plasticky kind of sound to it. And that's due to the layers, how they make DCF. It's actually a layered product. So giving it some rigidity and some strength on the outside, they use other things which are a little bit noisy. It does have this clip which holds it down. If you have it all the way up, there is a strap that goes across the top. One of the options I got, a V-top strap, which I'll explain to you. But normally there's a single strap that goes from the back to the front and clips in the front to hold this down and keep everything compact. You can tighten it up. Since DCF is water resistant, I got the model that also has, as you can see, the roll top here. It's not going to let any water in, any dirt in, any debris as you're walking. And with the strap closing it, you don't have to worry about it coming open. And as you use up food or your pack gets lighter, you can roll that down more and tighten it. And of course with the strap, you can tighten it even more. No zipper. I felt that was, like I said, no place for water to intrude, dirt to get in, or something to break or fail on the trail. And that was kind of important to me. It does have a padded hip belt. You can see it is a little thinner than most packs that I've seen or had in the past. However, I didn't really have a problem with it. I had no problem with it laying on my hips. One of the things I did like, it seemed a little weird. The straps are kind of thin, but they actually work really well. And you have two of them. You have an upper and lower, which most packs will only have one. And this actually worked pretty good because you're able to customize the feel and fit on your hips. So if you like it a little tighter on the top or bottom, you can adjust it a little bit. It's one clip, but two straps. So, and that's beefy enough. I didn't have a problem with it. And all these things are very thin and small to reduce weight. And that's how they're able to get this pack so light. The other thing that it's well known for is this air gap. When you normally use this, what you would do is you bend the frame to make what they call the air gap. So as I have it here, you would bend it and you generally arc this till you have like a 1-inch gap in here. And that's how it rides, like a little suspension on here. And I gotta admit, while you still sweat, I was hiking, it was obviously hot weather. It does allow you to stay a little bit cooler, and it does reduce some of the heat that builds up on your back. And it also helps prevent any of the items in your pack hitting you in the back if you ever had something sharp in there, which obviously means you need to repack your pack and pack better. But it did help with that, so that you don't have anything in there. So that's really good. Another thing it has is these load lifters. You can adjust the pack to ride higher or lower, as well as alter the fit, so you can customize it to yourself how you like it. If you like it riding a little higher or a little lower, you can do that. And there's a good video on ZPacks website. They just redid their website actually in the last couple of months, and there's a good video on there that shows you how to adjust and customize it for you that you're doing. The other thing I liked, it does have a pocket for or if you want to put a for water on the side or anything else. And these are made for 1 liter or 1.5 liter bottles. Most standard is 1 liter, but it does have a larger size that would be accommodated by this, which is pretty nice. The other thing that I like is this mesh in the front. I'm used to that on my packs. I like this for items I'm going to need during the day. If they're not inside, I don't have to open up the pack. Maybe rain gear, something that might get wet. Even if when I had a tent that had a fly in it, I would like to put that in there. So if it is wet, it can drip and dry a little bit during the day, and it's not getting in my pack. It's dripping outside the pack. So I like that. Rain gear is another thing. It gets wet, you throw it back in here, it can dry out with this mesh pack. Sometimes I keep even a map in here. If I have a big map, I'll keep it in here so it's readily accessible. I can just pull it out while I'm hiking without having to take the whole backpack off or open it up, which is more important. Sometimes you just don't want to put it down. So some of the other things that I like about it is the compression straps on the side, so you can cinch your load, tighten it down. If it's bulky, you can actually keep it compact and tight, and this prevents it from obviously taking up bulk, or when you're walking on the trail, you don't hit leaves, you don't hit twigs and branches and get them caught on stuff as much. So I like that as well. And it comes with these shock cords, obviously, on the bottom if you wanted to put something here as well. Let's say you have an air mattress pad and you want to put it here or something, you can tighten it up, and it's included. You don't have to pay extra for that. Some places you have to buy them. They're thin, they're rope, they're string, they're pretty good. No problem with it fraying, and it's very lightweight, so it works good with that. It also does have a hole for a bladder and a port to come out, and then you can route it through here. It would go in the main compartment. I'm sorry about the noise as I do this. There's Velcro closure on the top, but there is a port in the middle. It's kind of hard. I'll take a separate picture of this, but there is a hole routed through here, and it's covered so that no water can get in, even in the rain. And you can bring the port out to the left or the right side, whatever you prefer, and then hook it onto your strap. So you can adjust the torso up and down as you need to. The same thing with the belt that I didn't mention. The belt is interchangeable, so if you decide that you need a different size belt, maybe you've lost weight or gained weight, or they actually have one that has additional padding. So if this belt is not working for you, you can change it out without changing the rest of the pack. There's just a bar that goes in there that attaches it, and you can change that out. Like I said, you can adjust the torso a little bit. You can adjust the belt if you need it. The V-top, which I mentioned earlier, normally there's one strap. This strap is a V-top strap. And I bought this because on this trip, we were going into the Pisgah National Forest, and it is required for you to travel with a bear canister, which takes up a lot of room, as you can see. This thing is listed as weighing 2 pounds 9 ounces. When I got home and weighed it, it actually weighs 2 pounds and 13 ounces. So a little bit more. These reflective stickers might have something to do with that, but I don't know if they're really 4 ounces worth. So you can see here's the Bear canister, the Bear Vault. This is the Bear Vault 500. I tried the 450. Not only is it smaller, but the strap really won't hold it on because there's just not enough surface area for it to grab and hold. So, and this did a good job. I only had it fall off once, and that was really user error. I forgot to cinch it down enough. But other than that, it does a great job of doing what it's supposed to. And I hiked with this. As a matter of fact, that later on, I actually put my garbage in here and held it in here so it wouldn't be in my pack. And it actually did a really good job. So I was actually thinking of keeping this on here. The single strap is actually lighter. So more than likely, if I don't need a bare vault to carry with me, I'll go back to the single strap, which I just took off. And it goes on, it's just basically regular small webbing, very light. And it's very easy to change. It takes about 2 seconds. And one of the other things that I ordered on here were extra pockets or pouches on the straps. And they're made out of DCF as well, so they're water resistant. And I moved them down a little bit because they came up a little high. They were installed when I bought it because I bought the pack with it. They shipped it with it. And they each weigh a ½ ounce. So together they weigh 1 ounce. And you pay a little extra. If you buy them in a pair, you save a couple of bucks. I think they're like $29 individually, but they're like $49 for the pair. So I bought 2 of them. I figured I could always use them both. I decided to take one off though because I keep a GPS on this side usually, and you'll see pictures. I'll show you that. But on the other one, I was able to put my camera in it. I can even fit a phone in here if I really want to, or snacks for during the day, depending on what you want to do. One of the things I did note, basically part of the review on this, is that it rained, and because the pouches are DCF, the Dyneema, they're actually waterproof. So when water got in, it just sat there. So I did zip the top closed, but water still did drip in there. And they did get wet inside, and it took a while for them to dry out, probably like over a day. Everything, it felt damp in there. One of the things I do like is there's mesh on the front, so you actually have like an inner pocket, which is quite roomy, and an outer pocket. Maybe something that you don't need or you want to be able to see, you can probably put in there, and you can see it. And so you have a lot of room. It really gives a lot of room. They're very spacious. Another option that I picked was the belt pouches. I'm used to hiking with a pouch on my belt, hip pockets. And that's what I got here. Once again, I bought them as a pair. They each weigh 0.75 of an ounce. Together, they're 1.5 ounces. And I kept them both. And they're really quite large. I can fit my phone in here in a protective case, not have a problem. I usually carry snacks for the day in here, a map, a small map, because it's easy to get to. I've heard some people complain about these pouches, that they're very hard to open up because they're so soft, especially with one hand. But I found that wasn't the case when I was wearing it. If your belt is tight enough, on you, and it's firm, you can generally open or close them at one hand. Obviously, it's easier with 2, but I did not experience a problem. And because they're sealed, they're water resistant as well. I mean, obviously some water could get in there, opening and closing. But like I said, I was in a rainstorm and I had my camera in here. I had other stuff in there and it never got wet the whole time. So I was pretty impressed and happy about that, because most other packs, the pockets are gonna your material is gonna soak through and begin to wet through and get in there, and you don't have to worry about that with this. Obviously, if you left it open or water got in there, you'd have to worry about the water getting out. So that was most of the reasons that I picked for this pack. Like I said, it's very, very light. It's similar to what I'm using before. Additionally, with all the compression straps, all the the bottom straps, the load lifters, you can put your tent poles in here and hold them and tighten them down so you don't take room in the interior compartment. The only negative thing I'm used to is I'm used to having a sleeping bag I put in the bottom, and I have a zipper so I can get to the compartments top and bottom, but that's not really a big deal. This is just one big bag. So I'm gonna go now and discuss the pack I was using, which is an Osprey Volt 60. I love this pack. My son used it on this hike. He wants me to keep it because he's going to use it. If he wasn't going to use it, I would still keep it. I like the pack that much. And maybe if I need a larger pack, it's 60 liters instead of 55. I would probably use this during the winter if I needed a larger room or something else. But other than that, I'm still satisfied with this pack. It's just comparatively to the Arcblast, it's much heavier. So there's a savings. So it has a lot of the same features. Once again, it has the pockets, the mesh pockets on the side to hold your water, right here and here on both sides. It has a separate, one thing I do like, it has a separate compartment for a bladder. So it's not actually in your pack. You can take your bladder in and out without even opening the interior of the pack, which I really like. And it has a little hook in there that holds it so it doesn't slide down on the bottom like some of them do. And then you can route the port in or out. This is water resistant somewhat. It has a coating, but it's not waterproof in any way. I have a separate rain cover that you have to put on here in order for everything not to get wet. So you do need to wrap your stuff and protect it with plastic or some sort of other bag. As you can tell, it has this big mesh front, which I'm used to. The biggest feature I'm really used to that the Arcblast doesn't have is this brain on top, or basically additional pockets. You know, it has one on the bottom, on the top and the bottom of this part. It has a large opening also, which I really like. But it's divided in half. Like I said, I have this separate pouch, and it does have the straps, all the same straps, compression straps on the side, bottom straps. You can adjust on the fly if you want to change the suspension. It has this thing, you can move this up or down as you feel. You can see the hip belt is a little bit more robust. The pockets are here. I really like them. You can open them up one-handed. However, these pockets are actually smaller than the ones on the Zpack. And once again, they're not waterproof or water resistant. There's a little more padding on this, but it's right up against your back and it does get hot and sweaty. Other than that, like I said, most of the features that the Zpack have, this has. But the difference is obviously, and beside this is geared for 50 pounds of weight. It's a little more robust because of the frame, and this is only 35. However, this weighs 4 pounds, 3 ounces. That's 68.8 ounces, 1,950 grams. 2.8 pounds or 44.8 ounces. That's a savings of 1,270 grams. The savings is just in weight is, to me, a very big difference. And it's more noticeable when you're hiking longer distance and you load up. It feels more comfortable, obviously. The less weight you're carrying, the better it is for you in terms of moving and being comfortable. And that's what it's really all about. The cost is obviously a lot more. This pack is still in production. The colors have changed. It is going anywhere between $150 to $200 right now. ZPacks, like I said, is $325 without the extras. With the extras, it's over $4 something, which is what I paid for it. And I can justify that cost, one, as I upgrade, but if I would have put together the cost of all the backpacks I've purchased throughout the years, and this is probably my 4th one on a Zpack, I easily would have overpaid. So if I could have known what I know now and just upgrade right away, when you're first starting out, you generally buy the best material you can buy, but it's hard to justify that expense when there's other stuff out there and you figure the weight won't be that big of a deal. But as you get into hiking more and more and backpacking, you realize it is a big deal and you can justify the expense to yourself on spending that money. So I felt it was worth it to upgrade to lower that weight. Like I said, a weight savings is 2.8. That's several days food. That's most of the water I carry. So it's like I'm almost negating carrying that water. So it's a big difference, as well as I upgraded my tent at the same time, which I'll do another video on hopefully in the future. And that really saved me a lot. So I think it's worthwhile to upgrade as necessary. You know, when you're starting out, sometimes you might not have the money to do it, but if you can, you want to buy the best material and product you can buy for the money. And I think the Zpack is definitely a strong contender if you're looking to lighten up, even though it is more pricey. And that's something that you'll have to decide for yourself. On the trail, I noticed I had no problem with the Zpack. It was very, very comfortable. I could easily notice the difference from what I'm used to. It did feel lighter. I didn't feel as tired and fatigued, which helps out everything, your posture, your shoulders, your back. None of those things really gave me any trouble with the weight I was carrying. And even though I was hiking several miles, like I said, I did 30.9 miles in 3 days. The first and second day being obviously longer days. The last day was only like 6 or 7 miles. The pack did well. I'm looking forward to hiking with it again. I'm planning on going back to the Foothills Trail later this year, and I'm planning on taking the Z-Pack with me and hoping I can fit all my gear in there. So it will probably be colder weather, so if everything doesn't fit in here, I will stick with the Osprey Volt. But if not, the Z-Pack is definitely the pack of choice right now that I'll be using to lighten up and save some weight. So that's my thoughts and opinions on it. I'll use it more, and hopefully I'll have more review and more miles on it that it'll be a better review. But I think that it's going to be a good addition to my kit that I'm taking, and I'm looking forward to hiking many more miles with it. So once again, thank you for taking time in this video. I hope you appreciate what I'm doing and enjoy it. Please leave me a comment below, good or bad. I read them all. And please subscribe if you are so inclined. Thank you very much. Till we meet again.